Welcome to Saving Miller. I wanted to give you a quick midweek, just a little snapshot of some things that are going on. First of all, the beard is definitely in danger. We have about 10 days to go, 9 days to be exact. Um, so we are at 259 subscribers, and we have now reached 1,300 viewing hours. So we've actually made some great progress, which is great, but we are only halfway to the number of subscribers in the challenge. I knew that 500 was a pretty aggressive goal for a month, but I thought, hey, let's see, aim high. Unfortunately, it looks like the beard is endangered. So please help me out. If you have some social media, you can do a shout out on there, or something like that, to let people know some of the interesting things that we have going on here, and some of the maybe the teaching that we do, showing you how to build things, or showing you how we're farming, what's going on with the animals, etc. So thank you very, very much to the 70 people or so that have subscribed since I issued the challenge on April 16th. But May 16th is coming up, and I think what we're going to do is do a live stream sometime, late afternoon Pacific, which would be maybe around 6 or 7, 7 or 8 in the evening, back on the East Coast if you're in Eastern Standard Time. So you'll be able to see the beard coming off, because it'll be for real if we don't make it. So we've got 1 week to go. Please do step up and subscribe if you haven't already. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the coronavirus. So I've mentioned previously it hasn't really affected us here a whole lot, except that we just had more time to be at home. I am actively working from home, and so not a whole lot has really changed for us, other than we're less busy away from home, and I've had a lot less travel, which has been great. And over time, as the stories have kind of changed, and I don't know about the accuracy of most of the stories, I just have to do the best I can. I felt like there was sort of a shortage of available tests, and there are definitely people that needed the tests more than I did. First responders, frontline medical workers, grocery store workers, they're the ones that probably need early warning more than anyone else. Um, where someone like me, there are some older folks who do come in contact with us every now and then, but in general, we've been pretty isolated. We've had a pretty small circle of contact with other people, because we've just been here on the farm. However, I recently had to travel a bit, and I was a bit concerned about the exposure. It was essential travel, had to do it, but I was a little concerned about what that meant, and also curious. So I decided, here in Arizona. Okay, let me sort of stage this. Here in Arizona, we have not been very dramatically affected by actual cases. So the state has tested around 90,000 people, and I believe, oh, I just looked at the numbers and I forgot already. 9,000 confirmed cases, so about 10% of the tests are confirmed cases of positive tests. And then there have been, as of the official count this morning, I believe 426 deaths. There has been a lot of controversy about how those deaths are counted, and one of the things that I think is going to be a growing issue is the deaths in assisted living facilities. We have a lot of assisted living facilities here, and so I think there's some growing concern about how those are counted, if they are actually being counted as COVID-19 related deaths, or if they are being cataloged in a different way or something like that, or are they being hidden, um, by someone with someone who's being dishonest. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know if anyone does, but I imagine the truth will come out. But in general, if you think about a state with as big a population as Arizona, here in the county we live in, with the whole metro area, I believe it's close to 6 million people. The number of people who are affected is very, very low. And so I personally don't even know anyone who has had a confirmed case, um, out of 90,000 people being tested, that's also not a huge number of people who have been tested. So there's just a tremendous amount of unknowns. So I decided I had the opportunity to get a test. So Arizona has been doing a blitz. They want to do 10,000 tests every weekend, May 2nd, May 9, May 16. And so I thought, well, you know, I'm willing to participate and see what happens. And I decided I'd let you guys know how that turned out. So it was fairly easy. I got an appointment. I had to, display symptoms, you know. So I went to a clinic and they said, okay, park here, give us a call, let us know you're here, somebody will come out. And so it took about 20 minutes, I parked. There was no one else in that area. No cars, no people, nobody. It was just an empty parking lot on the south side of the building. So I gave them a call. I waited. Finally, someone comes out in a bunny suit, all masked and everything, covered up. And I just stayed in the car, and they took two other tests, to see if my symptoms were something else. Nope, those were negative, instant results. And then they did the COVID-19 swab. Stuck it down my throat, choked me. I felt it like for 3 hours later. And so they said, we'll give you a call. Well, I was trained in proper lab procedures, and so I actually have some concerns about the viability of that test. And I don't know if this is reliable information either, but supposedly that in UV light, in other words, light outside or specific UV light bulbs, the virus can only live for maybe 30 seconds or something like that. So when the test was taken, the swab went in and then it was carried over to a desk. And this is all outside. It's not inside the clinic. It was outside in the parking lot. Very bright sunny day. The swab was carried over to a desk. I couldn't see it. It was probably about 40 feet away. And, hopefully put it in a test tube or something like that. So I think it had enough exposure to kill the virus that might have been on there. However, I also don't know about how the tests are done. So maybe they detect a dead virus? Probably. It's hard to say, there's so many unknowns. It's just like there's a shotgun approach, to testing, antibody testing, COVID-19 testing, all this stuff. Who knows? But we have to do the best we can with what we know. So I said, yes, I'll get tested. And then they said, well, it'd be anywhere from 1 to 7 days. And I thought, great. And so, I had proposed to self-isolation and quarantine, but my wife was absolutely not a fan of that. She said it's impossible. We just can't do that. I don't know why. But anyway, finally, the next day they actually called me back. So it was right around 24 hours. They called me back and they said, hey, your COVID-19 test came back negative. So I don't have the coronavirus as of Monday. I'm well aware of what the test is. It's sort of a backwards looking test up to a point in time, and after that it's meaningless. So who knows what the status is today. But if you have the opportunity, I think it's helpful for the scientific community, for researchers, and even for our state governments who are making very important decisions. If you have the opportunity to get tested, definitely do that. It didn't actually take a whole lot of my time, and I think that I kind of see it as maybe a civil duty. If I am infected and contagious, then I don't want to spread that to other people, even if I don't have symptoms, and getting the test is the only way to figure that out. So that's why I got tested. Hopefully all of you out there are doing well, and I would be very curious to leave it in the comments. Let me know if you've had any experiences with the testing. So once again, if you're not subscribed, definitely click on the subscribe button. Help save the beard. I should mention, so on the previous video, I mentioned that somewhere around 90% of our viewers are not subscribers. It actually got worse since then. We're now at 93% of people who watch our videos are not subscribed. So I was kind of amused by that. Subscribers are around 6.5 or 7% of our viewers. I find that very interesting. I was kind of surprised by that. So definitely, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button and click the like button if you enjoyed this little video. Thanks, and Save the Miller out.